Hit the intro, Brad.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Teddy.
We can't stop snapping. It has been a few weeks. We have had a plethora of cards released, including like 4 shadow drops that we were not able to prepare for. And Brad, how are we feeling about Thunderbolts? Is this the Marvel Messiah? Is this
Okay, hold on.
the return?
It's funny. I was waiting to play Repo with a buddy of mine, right?
Yeah.
And my partner. He was downloading the game, and a way to kill time while he's downloading this 2 gig game, so literally just 5 minutes. Because as we are in this day and age, you need that constant dopamine hit, you need that constant something happening. We all decided to make a tier list because we were talking about Thunderbolts. We were talking about like Marvel movies. So we all made tier lists for all the Marvel movies.
All
And
the
we
movies.
placed
Okay.
them.
Yep.
All the movies. And when it was all said and done, after I made this tier list, Thunderbolts has landed firmly at number 5 for me of all Marvel movies. That is how much I like the movie.
Really good.
Just to give you a quick rundown, my top 5 is Captain America: Winter Soldier, Infinity War, the first Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and Thunderbolts are my top 5. The Iron Man is probably the one that would mostly throw people off. I think very highly of that one. The fact that there's like no actual script to the movie and it's just a big improv fest is really cool to me. And yeah, it's what kicked everything off. And I think it's like it actually has like, the sauce. Like it has heart. So I really like that one.
Oh yeah, no, that one absolutely. It was what it needed to launch like the mega franchise that we are, and then bring us to Thunderbolts, which so much fun. I was already on board for like all of the characters that were on the team, and then I feel like the acting, the script, they all had space to like let their characters be great. Especially Red Guardian. Like the moments with Yelena and Red Guardian are all incredible.
Well, it's really the movie was really great because it actually had a fairly and again, like as far as like film standards go, it's a fine movie, it's good, it's enjoyable, whatever. But as far as Marvel movies go, it's very good because it has a nice balance between your comedic stuff that doesn't feel too out of place. The last few years, I'm sure you've noticed there's like a lot of like moments that like have like really hard, heavy hitting, like dark or even like just solemn moments that are immediately just backhanded by a quip of some variety. And it's just you get that whiplash. This one didn't do that, which is really nice. It makes me feel good about like future movies that were kind of like getting away from Joss Whedon-esque type writing. It feels like Marvel's been stuck in.
Yeah, but it's also that like Yelena and Red Guardian are already set up as characters that can cope with really dark situations with humor, and so like it's honestly like the perfect characters for Marvel to be writing because they let them have those like release valves of some stronger topics, right?
Right. The opening scene was great. My favorite scene in the movie, easily.
Practical
with her.
stunt. Florence does at least most of her own stunts and fought Disney's safety to let her do it.
And what's it called? When she's in the hallway in the very beginning, as she's making her way into the building, where it's getting progressively darker on a top-down view, and the shadows become more prominent, so you get that foreshadowing of her battling her inner void with that monologue. A little on the nose for some people, but look, I'm a pretentious film major, and anything I see that has remote sauce of any variety in any Marvel movie, I'm very happy.
I mean, speaking
of which,
those hallway scenes
movies
with the great camera angles, so good. It's making me think of like Daredevil, like some of his classic scenes. Make me think
Guardians 3.
Yeah,
like when I saw that one for the first time, I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah. This is good. We got sauce.
Action movies and hallways. Very, very how do they always pull it together? But then it's just like the Marvel engine is really humming because you sit in the theater, you watch the full trailer for Fantastic Four, you're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then by the end of Thunderbolts, you're like, okay, I guess I have to go see the next one, and then I'm already kind of on board for whatever they collab on next, right? Like it's all building.
Hold on, Teddy. Okay, I need to pat myself on the back. Okay, let me tell you.
All right, Brads, I told you so for the day. I think he has a quota of 2 I told you so we're getting 1 here.
So this, I'm copying the link. I'm sending it to you on here on Discord so you can verify with the wonderful people and listeners and viewers that this is authentic. This is a tweet that I put out April 4th, 2024. Quote tweeting discussing film on Twitter that says Galactus is expected to be the main villain of Fantastic Four. No actor has been cast for the role yet. I say, calling it now, the film ends with Galactus being successful, the Fantastic Four escaping their universe and ending up in the main line, and letting the loss of their world fuel them in supporting the Avengers for Secret War. Based on the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
I was going to say, I don't know if we can run this segment in the podcast with the spoilers.
Oh, no, too late. Sorry. Spoilers, guys. I mean, it's the post-credit scene. It's literally all it is.
But okay, we'll throw up a disclaimer before we hit this.
Sure. Post-credit scene shows like a interdimensional ship coming in, and the new Avengers take a look at it real quick, and they look at the little camera, and the ship kind of looks like the Forerunner ship from Halo 2 that Master Chief is on at the end, where he's like, "Sir, finishing this fight." If you didn't play Halo, I'm so sorry for that reference for you guys. And then it turns slightly, and you see the Fortastic logo.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is I'm right.
It's great. Yeah, you were right. You were right, and I'm into it. It's I think it's gonna be solid.
I cannot wait. I have been there's it's the first superhero family. Like, it is the most excited I've been for any superhero movie ever, and it's crazy.
We need this to pick up the mint. Incredibles did a lot with it, but they were not actually Fantastic Four. This can really push it up.
It's pretty easy to say the best Fantastic Four movie ever made is Incredibles 1.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's wild. We have data mines of the Fantastic Four characters. It's a bit of a soup right now. I don't know when we want to cover it, because they have versions of the cards that all reference a limited time game mode that have slightly different versions. So I feel like we might do better here, like touching on cards that have all the cards that we missed on the release schedule, like where they landed from last season, and then just like quickly what we're looking at this season, because we had 2 bangers release back to back just yesterday that we both got to test pretty extensively, right?
Right. Yeah. So this also can go back hand in hand, because not only do we have cards to review, both ones that are duds like Doxy, and ones that are studs again. Like Surge. But we also have, because the last time we did this, we were looking in the future at snapbacks. So now we can actually talk about our experience with snapbacks being fully released in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can wholeheartedly say that this is so much better than Spotlights. It
is so much better.
Insanely better.
Once they fill in how we can get those Spotlight Cash variants, then we're perfect.
Yeah,
I think this is kind of the sweet spot for collection progression. Like, I've had people in my chat and Discord community that are like, yeah, with the collector caches, I can keep up just 2 months back, and I'm fine with that, because by then, hey, the cards are more balanced anyway, and I can still build pretty competitive decks. And then there's other people that are like, well, I'm not going to go back for some of those, but I can keep the current curated set actually pretty up to date with the amount of currency that I am receiving. And then there's some of these, like...
Did you see some people getting like 200,000 or like 500,000 tokens?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
They had so many Spotlight keys.
And they just blow it all here to fill in the collection. Or you have cards like Surge, where you might actually justify picking and choosing 6,000 just for Surge. I had plenty of people ask if Surge was worth 6K. I told them no, she's actually worth like 10K, as that was my general stream answer.
She's really good. She works in a way that you don't expect. But we'll get to that in just 1 second because I want to pull that back into the snap packs. So I was telling you, Teddy, just before we started recording, my experience with opening a snap pack for Surge yesterday. So as you know, when you go into the new cards section of the shop and you're in the seasonal spotlight, there is the new card, Seasonal Series 5 spot, and then Seasonal Series 4 spot. And then there's the collector packs, which are going to be the older cards at a little bit cheaper prices. So in the Seasonal Series 5 cards, the only ones that were available prior to yesterday for me was Goliath and Hydra Stomper or whatever. And I already got both of those. In fact, I got like pretty good pulls on them. So then there was only one card remaining in Seasonal Series 5 yesterday with Surge's release, and it was, lo and behold, Surge. So I'm like, oh, cool. I have 5,000 tokens. We're going to go ahead and burn this.
I mean, why not?
As my bonus stuff, I get Toxie as one of my bonus cards. And an extra 5,000 collector's tokens. So I just got 2 cards for free, essentially, according to that. And then the one before that, when I got the Hydra Stomper, I got the Baltrock Leaper Boy.
The good one.
The very good one.
One of my favorites, man.
Not one of the bad ones. Not Fanfare or Topaz. So in 5,000 tokens spent, or essentially, I've gotten 3 new cards. The Goliath one I got Jack on. I got Goliath in like 25 tokens or whatever. But
sure. That's my experience on every pack.
So you can hire all these, and that feels really good.
Absolutely. I had one chatter get a Series 5 and a Series 4 as their bonus rewards on a purchase. So they got a card and then they got 2 cards. So it was a 3-card pack.
Oh, that's crazy.
The catch up is insane. It's so fast.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my 5,000 tokens, and I'm looking at these unknown Series 5 cards. And you know what, dear viewers and listeners, out of these 9 cards, you can tell me if any of them are worth it of actually getting. Bruce Banner, Bullseye, Doom 2099, Emperor Hulkling, Frigga, Hydra Bob, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, Toxin, and Victoria Hand. I recognize the power level of like at least 3 of those cards, being Toxin, Frigga, and Bullseye. Yep. I think Doom 2099 has kind of fallen off pretty hard. And then Hydra Bob is just boring. It's a 1/4. Cool. I don't care.
He's good though.
I understand he's good. Don't care. So that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'll play any. I honestly, I think Bullseye is the one I would play the most if I got.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I
got this amazing variant for Bullseye at one point, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to build a discard list and main it.
He's got a mustache.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Bullseye and the bloody cards.
I'm surprised you haven't tried doing a like a Bullseye Toxin deck since you love Toxin so much.
I do love Toxin, but Bullseye Bounce. So I actually did test. You got me. I tested Bullseye Bounce. It didn't work.
Okay. It didn't? That's unfortunate.
No,
like bouncing Dakin and stuff didn't work?
No, bouncing Dakin is way worse than playing Freya, but it was like basically the idea is I would play activate 1-drops, get the value during the mid game, and then recall them to have Bullseye discard them and attack somebody.
Gotcha.
Like basically Iceman, like do I want 2 points on the board or do I want Bullseye to discard him and put -2 on an opponent if I've already played, him throughout the game kind of thing.
Bullseye is an interesting card to like show someone like a year and a half ago or whatever, or 2 years ago for like Snap and be like, look at this. And it just looks on paper inherently broken. It looks insanely stupid of like, it's just like, it has synergy with your discard stuff like Dakin, and then it afflicts things with -2.
That it's an activate that they've never heard of, and then has this little question mark to explain things even more, and then they're like, what is this?
I like the question mark. It's a nice quality of life that I accidentally click on every game.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is the click the button or like the space is where I want my thumb to normally like my reflexes tap to
Yeah,
minimize the card, and then
correct.
it's like, oh, you wanted to learn more. It's like, no, I already know how it works. Sorry.
My
Yeah,
favorite is
but
when two boxes show up
yeah,
for some cards, and I'm like, oh
stacking
wow, we're
info.
learning.
We
Okay, so
went to
let's
school
let's
today.
get in. Let's get into Surge. Unless you want to get into Baltrock and the other one first.
Well, I feel like we have to at least quickly touch on. So we dropped our episode with Carter and Kohori, like looking forward, and that was a 4-3 Carter and the 4-6 Kohori. What do we feel on last season's cards and their landing places?
All of them are pretty good. Besides Ultron. Ultron's pretty bad.
I was about
even with his
to
buff.
pick up a pitchfork there, but yeah,
it's just even with his buff, everyone else but Ultron is really really good.
It was so much disparity in that season of like release Captain Carter, horrific, release Infinite Ultron, horrific, and then like Kohori is just like going right, like really good. Strange Supreme, incredible. Toxidoxy, horrific.
Horrifically bad, yeah. I don't even okay, so Toxidoxy is a weird one because it's like I understand trying to be interesting with your design. But like it's just bad. It's just really bad. It's
like did no one check the stats of the card? Like it's not playable.
No,
as it is at a 2-1. It's like it's putting restrictions on the stats that you get from other cards. Just
even if you were to remove the restrictions, she's just a 2/5.
Right.
And that's I understand barely playable.
Putting buffs on like other cards that make multiplicative use of said buffs is better. It's like, Forge is like worth it even though his stats are just raw stats are low in some situations. But Toxidoxy, because of the restriction, is like never worth it.
No.
She can easily put this buff.
She farts on your hand.
Yeah.
Have you seen the effect? It's disgusting.
It happened once because I was forced to play it against my will. It popped out of X Mansion.
Yeah.
I was like, no, Toxic.
That's how we always try out the bad cards.
She did the thing. She put the effect on the card I wanted to play on the following turn to play my curve. And it's like, this is horrible.
I don't know why they did. I don't know why they're like, is the design team afraid of Infinity Ultron? Are they afraid of just making the stones more playable or him a 4-cost?
Yeah, I don't understand there because like he got +2 power, which for a 5-cost I know is not like as meaningful as if that +2 buff was put on somebody else, but it's a big buff and he's still unplayable. Like why can't we need +2 on every stone as well? It's a 2-factor card.
They need to be 2-cost stones, or he needs to be a 4-cost card.
Yeah, so like huge changes.
It might be a hot take. Even if they gave him, let's say he was a 4/5, right?
Yep.
And let's say the stones were all 2/1s, all of them, because that way, like, just you want to bring down the power a little bit for them because you're bring the cost up.
Yeah, right. Just like.
I think he'd still be kind of mid at best.
Yeah, you would because when you only
the
generate
stones are pretty bad. For
exactly, like their abilities are just so weak. The one that moves a low power enemy card to Infinite Ultron's location is like, why did this exist?
Yeah, I don't. Why are you sending them to him? I don't.
It's
get
just
like now
if it was like weak on purpose as a joke.
Card, it feels like the wins card from Agamotto.
Without -5. The wins card does -5.
Yeah. Where it's like, move it to Ultron, and Ultron steals 2 power from that card. Like, then that'd be cool. Right? That'd be cool. That'd be interesting. Also, real quick, by the way, what happened to the pitchfork wielders of everyone saying that the wins card of Agamotto needed to get nerfed? It's going to get nerfed. It's way too powerful or broken. We don't even see that card anymore. Where's Agamotto?
I was gonna say, just check on Agamotto existing in the meta. He's not there anymore. Now,
so
it's like it is a bit of a meta read as to when you want to use him because his access to the energy rush is good against a lot of like the energy lock. So if people run the discount and then the TVA Fun Police comes in and locks you at your costs, you might look at Agamotto as a way to get extra energy. So I don't know. He might come back. is what I'm saying. We also have a bunch of other Magic casters coming up that might bring him back.
Yeah, that care about skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be. I'm actually that is a deck that I'm really looking forward to playing, which is all skill cards.
Actually, yes. So Infinite Ultron's still horrible. Toxie. Is bad. She the worst card since Baron Mordo? I was scrolling through earlier trying to think, and I actually scrolled to the bottom, Brad. I was like, I don't know. There's an argument for she's worse than all of these. She
might be the worst card ever released.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
Right, if you take like that opening bundle of cards is not like quote unquote released, so. Yeah. Yep. Really bad. Strange Supreme. Awesome.
Very good.
A great Swiss Army knife for...
Though not like he gets really big, right? But like...
Yep.
You have to commit stuff to the board, and like he can like taking away like stones from other stuff like helps with space, right? Thanos in particular. Yes. But sometimes like he takes a key card that could have cost you the game based on how much you're losing from another location. He's susceptible to Shang-Chi often enough, or Shadow King even, so you might want to commit like a Cosmo next to him as well. But then that leaves you open to like your Thanos getting Shang-Chi or whatever. So like he's not broken. I think he has some balance to him. I could see them tweaking him a little bit to getting like maybe like +1 when he merges, or even like I wouldn't be shocked to ever see him lose that entirely, the merge bonus, because he does gain the power of the cards.
Wow. No, I think he keeps the like that fueling himself kind of power, but I might see him start at a 2-0 at least. Just like bring that base power down, because he does.
Ooh, so you're saying punchy. We could play him in Mr. Negative if we could
definitely play him in Mr. Negative.
I can't wait to get no
generated. Play him with White Tiger and Mr. Negative, because that does generate 1 token for you. Yes.
And he immediately jumps up to a 0-10 in that sense. That's cool.
No, there's a ton of like really cool things to run with Strange, and it's a like hidden category in Snap that the best cards are 2-cost scaling cards. It's like almost always been true. With,
or 2-cost Swiss Army knife type of cards.
Yeah,
just ones that are just really flexible in what they do.
He fits that category and plays super well. And Thanos, who's really good at the moment. All right, now we have our new cadre of movers.
Yep.
If I do move, does it? Nope, that kills my organization.
Wait, did it just put? Wait, hold on, time out. Put move again.
Yep, I put move again.
Why the fuck is Mojo there?
It starts M-O? I don't know, mate.
Mobius is there. MODOK is there. Morpheus.
It's literally it's only taking M-O.
You literally have VE in there, though.
Yes, the V, the E. I don't know, mate.
That's impressive.
I wanted to clear it so we had them all on one line.
What site is this? Is it Snap.fan?
It is Snap.fan, mate.
Snap.fan, fix your things.
Hey, please. We love using it, by the way. So we got dropped 3 Series 4 drops because they killed packs, but then they're like, but here's one more cash like pack. You have to pick out of the 3 new cards. But they're all new cards, which is great. And they're all cheaper. And then we got Hydra Stomper as well. So I feel like all of these serve as a bundle to talk about. Do you see any of these actually changing the landscape of Move?
All I saw was Hydra Stomper slot fairly nicely into like Scream decks as a decent 3-cost that can like scale. Yeah. And Baltrock is a good 1-cost to go. Like now you go turn 1 Baltrock, turn 2 Scream, turn 3 Hydra, and then 4 through 6 you move a bunch of stuff, and you feel pretty good about it.
The guy's so much fun. He's definitely overtuned, but at the same time, like the fun factor is so high.
Well, let's put it this way. I think Move is one of those few archetypes. When it comes to when you're being proactive in moving your things and caring about your side of stuff moving, those types of cards I think should be overtuned, because Move is inherently a poor archetype.
I was going to say that Move is like the most imbalanced archetype. There are some cards that stand out as like on their own incredibly broken, but because they have to work in this archetype.
Let's ask though real quick. The ones that are broken and are really good, they're all the ones that care about moving your opponent's stuff, because interacting with your opponent, stealing power, changing where their stuff goes, and having board manipulation and knowing how to like change the board state on your side and then your opponent's is where the power comes from. Playing solitaire with move is where it's bad.
Yeah. Well, Topaz and Fanfei are trying to fix that, but it's tough. It's an uphill battle, and you're like that proactive move deck is so susceptible to any kind of control that it does fall apart. I feel like
I actually think Fanfei would be more interesting or more fun as just a classic on reveal rather than activate.
And yeah, the little brother Heimdall.
The activate is like telegraphed or whatever, where like I'd rather it be a mind game of like I guess technically speaking you could have her on board and you can go like Heimdall and then activate her and do like a but I don't know. I'd rather it be like there's no presence of either, and you as an opponent have to be like, okay, well if they play Heimdall, this happens. If they play Fanfei, this happens.
Right.
I don't know. I just like that idea a bit more.
I think it is the mind game factor that Fanfei brings on activate of like, hey, when exactly are you going to ping it? Because like you could move your big carrier over and then shuffle it again, or you could have something else come in and then it immediately punched back out. So it's like trying to dodge the control cards is like the fantasy for the card.
Right.
But yeah, activate on any card with 4, a number bigger than 3, I think problem. Like
Topaz is just bad.
Their window of use on an activate card that's a 4 cost is so narrow. It has to be played on 4 or 5, and drawing it any other time is weak.
Yeah. No, I agree. Topaz, she's the more interesting one. Topaz is just strange to me.
Topaz is strange. We're getting like we have one of the cards coming up this season that like moves any cards that are a specific cost. It's like, do they just feel like they have to fill out this category of cards? Though Topaz is like what Hercules was supposed to be. Maybe Toxie's better than Hercules. Brad callback moment. Which is worse, Herc or Toxie? I think it.
Okay, Hercules I can still no. There's no way that Hercules is worse. He's at least a bigger body. And like has a higher chance of like accelerating your game plan in a way. Toxie Doxie actively stunts your game plan if she hits the wrong card, like what happened to you when she appeared on Expansion.
Yes.
Against your will.
It feels like, okay, Toxie should have hit the opponent. Not buff or nerf the cards, but she just randomly hits 2 cards that they can't play the following turn. That's what should have been the card, right?
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee you that's what it was to start.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they tried that. And they're like, no, they're not going to like this. People are going to get all mad. Which, to be fair, I wouldn't care for that if it was played against me. I would absolutely love playing it, though.
Yeah, I would play it all the time. But maybe just hits 1 card. I don't know. There's like, I should get off Toxie Doxie. She's not. We don't need to
turn 5 Toxie Doxie.
Yeah.
Sounds. Ooh, wait. What if she was a. What can you do with her on turn 5? Well, okay, let's make her a 1 cost so I can put her in Joaquin.
Oh, no.
Or like do Wong on 4 and then Toxie Doxie on 5.
Right, and then repeat it with Odin later on so the opponent is stun locked and can't play any cards.
Or, on the last turn.
Yeah, you go into Wong into Toxie on Toxie Absman, something, I don't know. Just stun lock them.
If you do Zabu on 1, you could go on 5, Toxie and Zorgman on 5.
All right. It's disgusting, but it would be better than it would be more fun to balance that effect than play with Toxie as she is what I think.
Yeah.
I like exploring.
I have a feeling if they did try that, which it would make sense that would be like the first place that they would go based on if you kind of work backwards from her design.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason they didn't do it is because they got flashbacks of Absman, Absorbing Man. I'm sorry, Absman Spider-Man in his original form.
Right.
Where it's like kind of in the same vein. It's restricting play. So, imagine that with like a hand attack deck, like
exactly. It's like
like a
Black Bolt,
Samurai, Black Bolt. So you get them down to one
Moon
or two cards in
Knight.
hand, and you pretty much guarantee that you're hitting stuff that they can't play, so they have to top deck.
I mean,
It's effectively an empty hand.
The dream is that it's Black Widow, and then you Toxie the Bite, so they can't play the bite and proceed to not draw. That might be what broke
Interesting.
Is that those kind of interactions, like, because it's such a fine line on if you layer enough of those interactions, does it break the game? And Toxie might have been the effect that was too much. But yeah, if you can pick out of the move cards, I'm seeing Hydra Stomper getting dropped by a lot of these like Silky Mover Scream decks in favor of a control card like Red Guardian. So, but Track the Leaper is the real winner out of that class. And we'll see.
Hydra Stomper is just a little undertuned. Like, screw it. Give him +2. Make him a 3/1. Give him +2. Each time someone moves for ongoing. Who cares?
Yeah, I do love that it brought Silk back.
Oh yeah, Silk is okay. Here's the thing though. I opened Hydra Stomper in my pack, and I got Baltrock as a bonus card. So I was like, "Oh, sweet, this is sick! I'm gonna play a move deck." 4 games out of my like 10 games played had Fisk Tower as a location, and I'm like, "Okay, guess I'm not playing move today, huh?"
Yeah, just the game said not today, mate.
Nope. And this was also during the Spider Island featured location too. So I would have Fisk Tower and Spider Island, and I'm just like, oh, well, this sucks. This is the worst. Is I can either play it in this middle location and fill that immediately, or I basically had to play stuff like on Fisk and like hope it just doesn't. It was bad. It was bad.
I don't really play much Rivals, but is Spider Island the best map?
Well.
Also, is Spider Island a unique location to Rivals, or did it exist in Marvel lore prior?
Spider Island and Shin Shibuya take place in 2099. Okay. So they should be lore accurate places. Shin Shibuya got removed from rotation in competitive play. It's still in quick play, but Shin Shibuya got removed because it has this really awful choke point at the very beginning for the Converge. Spider Island is a really good map. I like that one a lot. But I do think my favorite is Midtown, which is the Fantastic Four New York map.
Oh, I like Asgard.
Asgard's good. They also removed the Domination one from that. Funnily enough, I think the Domination ones are typically the weakest maps. Just like, though, because I prefer classic payload maps. Like when I played Overwatch, I like the payload maps more than like their Domination or whatever. But Midtown is probably my favorite. I like the chokes that it has. There's enough room to like flank and stuff like that. It feels fun on both attack and defense. Feels pretty balanced, but it is really long, I will say. Play some Rivals.
There we go. All right, for our new cards this season, do you want to tackle the Battle Pass or Surge first?
Well, I have not played with Esme at all yet. So if you have, I'm going to leave that to you.
All right. So Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs was my first deck that I played. And Surge did kind of immediately steal the show from Esme. But I then had a couple moments where, she procced on Gore. And the power level there is insane. So if you can find a deck that's able to utilize Gore, Iron Man. I mean, this is just like
a negative list.
Yeah, well, it's either the what I'm doing is
good curve out.
I'm doing the Moonstone Renslayer deck.
Sure.
You could run Bast, you could run Agent Venom. It's kind of like in this subcategory of ongoing energy efficiency lists. Mm-hmm. And Esme's amazing there because she can proc these other big bodies that then get a buff and a cost discount. Absolutely amazing. But I think there's more layers here that we can find. My eyes were opened, but the last deck that I was playing was a Surfer list with Esme. I'm trying to rush like Sarah and stuff like that. But then I had a moment where it was turn 5 and I had not drawn my Surfer yet. and I had Esme in hand, and I was like, I can play Esme right now as just an extra chance at drawing from what at this point is admittedly a pretty small group of cards to find my key combo piece.
Yeah, it should be a 1 of 3, right? At that
so
point, maybe 1 of 4.
It's this consistency element, and I found it. I found the Surfer off of the Esme. So,
and then you could have still drawn.
Then you could have double Surfer.
Yeah,
is
basically like a Freya.
There's tragically a visual bug where if Esme hits a surged version of the card will display a discount, but it's not discounted because she puts her set 2 cost over the surge effect. So my Surfer had actually been surged, but then the Esme version was not a 2 cost, it was a 3 cost, even though in hand it showed it as a 2 cost, which was annoying, but like that's just how it works, and it kind of makes sense as to why it works. But yeah, for any of these decks that have core combo pieces, or just factors of like if you can get multiples of specific combos that get way stronger, like I want to test this. What that made me think of is I want to test this in a Darkhawk Rock Slide deck, because if I can get multiple Hawks or multiple Rock Slides, then it compounds so quickly into the power level of this card. Or even like, heck, if I can hit Black Bolts.
Do you find it interesting how in a metagame where there's more Thanos than ever, Airsham still sees fairly consistent play? Whether or not it's a very powerful deck is different, but still sees enough play on the ladder that you'll run into it quite a bit. And like, I guess the occasional Agamotto kind of stuff, that Darkhawk has like no bearing right now in the meta.
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to Thanos for the fact that Thanos can just draw through so quickly that it's not necessarily a counter to Thanos anymore.
Which is,
but yeah, I think that Hawk is underplayed, but also like probably Hawk, Rock Slide, and Black Widow were all over nerfed. Because that used to be the premier deck. But Hawk at one point was a 4 cost, Rock Slide was a 3 cost, and Black Widow was a 2 cost, and now they've all gone up. And it's like
3, 4, 5.
Really, really hard to work.
Yeah, because like, what do you even put on? Like, what's the 2 that you play now? Like turn, like I guess like now it's like what? Turn 1 is like Korg, turn 2 Firehair, turn 3 Black Widow, turn 4 Rock Slide, Darkhawk. But then you have no room to like do Misery.
Firehair. You can do Grandmaster. You could just set up Surge. And so I think there's something there. We'll see. I did play to Infinite last, I think it was last season, was Ronin Hawk.
Okay. I've seen, when I was doing the tier list for my video, I've seen a few, like, or pretty much the only Darkhawk list I would see showcased in like the last like month on whatever it's called, Untapped, was Ronin ones as well. Yeah. I still cannot get behind it. There's too much confliction between the 2 cards that I just I do not like them together.
I'm telling you, mate, my climb to Infinite says it works. I don't know exactly how, like, you can index more on one side or the other.
Get it.
But it is like a lot of in the game you choose which side of the combos you want to fully invest in, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But the like Gorgon is just so mean. That's the kicker. Like, Gorgon is actually carrying these 2 when you're fighting against Arishem and Thanos. Because then the Master Mold sticks, the rocks stick, the bite, the Gorgon Widow's bite tricks. Like, that makes people rage quit.
A 1 cost.
That's where probably, like, alone 5% of their wins are Gorgon and the Black Widow.
It's just the thing of like the one that's always bothered me is like the Black Widow, for example, where it's like, in theory, she's good for both, but then you just play the 0 cost Widow's Bite, and the Ronin is like smaller by default, and now they draw one less card. It
makes Ronin worse. There's versions that run Max, which is cut off on this view, but like the Max makes the Hawk worse, but the Ronin better. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's it's
a weird thing like that like I understand that on average most of the time if you got both of them down or you're pivoting from one or the other, it's fine. It's just those slight breakpoints where like they conflict can lose you games, and
yeah.
that inherently is what makes me say it's probably not the best deck overall.
Oh, it's not the best overall, but if you're hitting a lot of Thanos and
Right.
Arishem, then
Yeah.
you just want to be mean and run
Both
Gorgon.
those decks, you hit both aspects of the Thanos decks and stuff. Because sometimes Thanos just has their deck is still full, so Darkhawk is great. Sometimes they just draw so much they can't play everything.
Their
so
hand
Ronan
is almost always full. Yeah.
Right.
And even like putting Master Mold in there to block some of the draw because it got full of the junk is hurting them.
Mm-hmm. I still want to see a Master Mold rework.
Cass always finds value. I would love a Master Mold rework. Can we please?
Just give him ongoing +1 for each Sentinel on board.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've ever wanted.
It'd be great.
Why does he is literally the controller of all the Sentinels, yet he himself is one less power than the Sentinels.
He's weaker than said Sentinels.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Like flavor-wise,
we all saw X-Men 97. It's not fair. Not fair to our boy. Yeah. But so if you want to play like a really unique counter, the other factor here is that it's so uncommon. Opponents will not really be able to predict you super well. So you can just steal some cubes on like, oh, you didn't realize my Ronan's a 20? Okay, well, that's on you, mate. But if they'd had more reps against you, they would have just retreated. But you can steal some cubes that way. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can squeeze Esme into this list, but at least, I mean, honestly, we could play Esme in like.
You could, in theory, get rid of Mystique. Mystique, like I trust me, I like copying, and that you have two good targets between Darkhawk and Ronan. But sometimes she's just you can't squeeze her in. True. Because you want to play her on turn 6. And what are you playing with her on turn 6, right? With these other 3 costs. So Black Widow doesn't really work except for the 3 body, and that seems really desperate and bad. Are you going to do a Master Mold plus a 1 cost, like a Korg or Spider-Ham? Spider-Ham doesn't matter at that point.
It's
maybe
supposed
Nico.
To be Grandmaster. Grandmaster to reactivate either Rockslide, Korg, or Master Mold, and then
you're looking pretty narrow then.
It is like very narrow. It's admittedly very narrow.
So I would cut the Mystique, honestly.
Yeah, or you could split the deck and run just a Hawk-focused deck or a Ronan-focused deck.
Yeah.
And run Surge and Esme to flesh it out with just some like good cards, and then Esme hopefully for consistency on your core combo. I really
thought Surge would be interesting in the Darkhawk list. So and speaking of like you're talking about visual bugs with Esme, lack of visual effects entirely. Surge is really disappointing. Just nothing. They couldn't. She doesn't have any visual. Okay, the cards itself has the electric thing on the card, but her on reveal, her doing the thing, there's no visual.
What platform are you playing on? On PC and my phone, she like electric zaps the deck.
I played on both, and she doesn't do anything for me. I'm dead serious.
She electro zaps the deck.
She doesn't.
You can pull up my stream and you can see it.
Is she bugged for some people then? Because she was bugged for me.
Maybe.
Because I played her for
she would crash a bunch of my games, but she has an effect.
Every time I used her, she had no effect. Nothing happened. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have to say, first off, this is an it says on reveal, which you think you understand on reveals. This is a different on reveal than we have ever had before. The Surge card, her body, hosts a repeating on reveal effect because the trigger for the on reveal is then playing future cards, but her body is still the one that is then activating the reveals. So when you play her, she's going to zap the top card of the deck. It gets cheaper and more powerful. When you play that card, Surge again zaps the deck, interacting with any on reveal manipulation on the Surge location, not the card that you just played. So it's not giving a new ability to all of the cards that you play. It's keeping the ability hosted on Surge, and the repeat part is also repeated, which in programming logic probably made sense to a lot of people. Did not initially make sense to me. So when when I played her on 2 and then I was able to chain her throughout the entire game, I was like, oh no. Because I thought, Brad, that she would go for herself, repeat for the next card, and then be done. And I thought she was going to be good, even if that was all she did.
Yep. I thought the same thing.
And here we are.
And when I played that first card that she zapped, and then I saw another zap card happen again, I was like, oh, like it was really, really strong.
Yes.
So yeah, she's a good
now,
card.
I had an opponent betray me. For science, we were going to be able to figure it out because I surged, and then what is the location? Like Weird World? The opponent drew my surged card, but then they chose to never play it. They held it for the entire game. So I don't know if they play it. Do I get the effect? Like, does it trigger my surge to hit my deck, or does it then trigger my surge to hit their deck? I don't know.
It would have to hit their deck. There's no way. All right, here. I'm in a random game. I have Surge in my opening hand. We're going to see if it works now. I just wanted to see if the effect works. All right. Playing Surge.
Yeah.
End turn. Opponent snapped. I don't care.
Spending cubes on this.
I don't need these mind games. I'll snap back. Oh. I'm so confident in this Surge. And then it's a Thanos deck, and they had Mind Stone on 1. I guess is why they snapped. And they still haven't confirmed their turn.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Strange Supreme Surge. Oh yeah, she zapped.
There you go. It's fixed.
She wouldn't zap for me last night, both on PC and mobile.
She has a great effect. Her win rate is insane off the early stats. I think we're looking at one of the best cards in the game. This is kind of, to me, the inheritor of Iron Patriot's spot as the go-to 2-cost for flexibility and energy efficiency. Honestly, like, she's doing a lot of the same things that Iron Patriot was giving you.
Yep.
She hasn't fully taken Falcap's spot at the very pinnacle for me because Falcap still has that consistency of giving you the shield regardless of playing or even drawing Falcap. And Surge, obviously, you get significantly diminishing returns if you play her late in the game. But, honestly, Sam Wilson, Captain America is the same way, right? You need to play him on 2 to get the full value. Playing him any turn later on is, like, significantly weaker. So, very competitive between those 2 cards and definitely out-competing most everything else.
Yep. Just letting you know how my game is going because I'm playing a Darkhawk deck with Misery and Zabu and Surge.
You loaded it up immediately. All right.
Oh yeah, I just threw. I already had the Darkhawk deck made. I just threw Surge in.
Nice.
And Zabu has made my Misery a 2/9. I'm rock sliding now.
Yep.
I'm about to Misery onto Rock Slide and Zabu, and Hood for that matter. Actually, no, I'm not gonna Hood because I want to. Actually, no, I have to Hood. Damn it. Oh well.
Yeah, the Surge compounding with Zabu for 2-cost, 4 costs is really fun. Really fun.
So right now I'm hitting Zabu, Rock Slide, Hood with Misery, and Surge is still going off. So hey, and I'm against Thanos, so in theory I should win.
This is supposed to be the counter.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The game won't let me win.
We shall see. You might pull it out. Because the thing is, like, if you can gum up the wheels of the Thanos draw engine by giving him a bunch of rocks, so he misses drawing the other draw cards, then he does slow down a lot. But you never know. He could also just have the Golden Road in his hand to begin with. That's always the factor in Snap. So I think Surge, I'm putting her incredibly high. I did a quick tier list on stream of, like, I think Surge is a top 5 card. My top 5 cards right now are Scream number 1, Thanos number 2, Falcap number 3, Surge number 4, Shang number 5. I think you were saying you also might put Surge very highly.
Yeah, I think probably top 5, I think is fair. I don't know what my other 5 off the top of my head would be.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Shang has to be there, unfortunately. It's just the way he functions.
Right.
I lost, by the way, because they had a 22 power Thanos.
How could this have happened?
So they had 25, 20, and 42 in their lanes, and I had 23 and 33. Yeah.
The Thanos ongoing
Yeah.
deck, man, it's cracked.
It's just, and like they just have a bunch of stuff. Like they're able to play all their stones. They got I have seen more
That's the thing,
power
is they got
stones
the
actually
stones
matter.
out ahead of you.
Yeah. Well, my
Yeah,
Darkhawk was still 21 power,
nice.
and I still lost.
Yeah, what's
Didn't win a
wild
single
is
lane.
that it does feel like Thanos has been more consistently hitting like the full stone complement
Mm-hmm.
without people even trying King Eitri. I thought it might have been King Eitri is like what you use if you're really going for that. Turns out
Yeah.
Thanos can just do it.
Which is insane. It's just it's so weird because, like, remember Thanos used to be like the best deck in the game when the stones, and then they got reworked, and then the stones were bad, and then they got changed again, and now he's the one of the best decks in the game again. It's like it's such a fine knob to like just kind of turn ever so slightly that just makes Thanos very, very good.
Right, but I think it also shows like what is the value of one card draw, because the change was you start with Thanos and the full hand
Yeah.
versus starting with Thanos and one card less, and that was
Yep.
the best card,
Yeah.
best deck in the
Well,
game.
and Mind Stone back to a one cost.
Yes, yeah. Mind Stone went down to a one cost, and then they got one
Now,
power on
then
blue.
all the cards draw now, right? I don't think
No,
there's a single except for the Power Stone.
purple and red don't draw.
Reality Stone doesn't draw. Are you sure?
Reality lost its draw. I
Uh,
play hundreds of Thanos games.
I admittedly played more Thanos in its original form than I have in its current form.
I've played Thanos at every step of the way. I played Thanos on release when he was considered the pathetic compatriot to Galactus, who was the herald of all things good in Snap, and I was playing like bounce Thanos and stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have draw. So I mean, but they gave the draw back to Soulstone and Timestone. Timestone also lost it for a time. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a point where there was only like 2 cards that drew.
Really?
It
It
was
was that
yeah,
low?
it was Mind Stone as a 2 cost, and then it was what's it called? The blue one drew, Space Stone, and that was it. Soul lost its it was literally just Space Stone and Mind Stone. Reality lost its draw. Power Stone obviously never drew.
These are all changes to Thanos himself.
Do they have the changes to the stones?
I think
listed?
if I select the stone cards, it might. But they're going to be on their own pages. So Greenstone has gone from release, draw a card, next turn you get +1 energy, to
remove a cost or -1 cost.
Yeah, -1 cost to Thanos.
Has it always had the draw?
It's
I might be
always
mistaken on
had the
Timestone.
draw.
Okay, so then it was. I know Soulstone lost its draw, and so did Reality Stone.
Soulstone at one point did not, yeah. Because it started draw a card, ongoing, enemies lose power, and then it switched to just the ongoing, enemies lose power. But now it has draw, and Thanos cannot be discarded or destroyed. What a win. The times where they shang you with Orange Stone, it feels great. It's the power fantasy. I have armor.
Yep, you didn't read it.
Also, the number of times that I've been able to cheat cubes off of Blue Stone, letting me play Thanos to a locked location. Nobody sees that coming.
Yeah, I always forget that. So like, I'll watch my opponent play Thanos. Like, how do they play that there?
Yeah,
and then I just see like, oh, Space Stone's on board.
Yep. It dawns on me like a little while later.
3 games later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how they did it.
Yeah, exactly. Blue Stone. I've already reported them to.
Yep.
Like, it looks like they played. It looks like they played Space Stone, and I'm like, oh.
Yep.
Can you see in my help ticket that I am someone who's played since the beta or not? Yeah. How embarrassed should I be?
I DM'd Glenn the ticket personally.
He's like, well, just from a cursory glance, they did play Bluestone. I was like, oh, I read Bluestone.
I don't think they did, sir.
I am colorblind. I couldn't tell. So, are we? Is there anything like on the horizon you think for Surge? Do you think she's gonna just like be the good card? Do you think there's somewhere she's gonna specialize?
You would think that like the best place for Surge is going to be something that can rapid fire cards. So like a Hitmonkey-esque, like where you top out at 3 or 4 cost that kind of deck is where like initially my brain went, because like, yeah, chaining off and getting reduced cost over and over again is very good. But then it turns out like, because of the chain effect,
right,
just a good stuff deck in general, like where it's like playing Galacta or like Nahori, like just like good curve outs, that works too, because like it just being able
oh
to
yeah,
chain off a 4 down to a 3, a 5 to a 4, a 6 to a 5, that kind of thing, or just like, or like your 1 is a 0 now that you can weave in, which is always really nice. So like I think she's just a good card that can go anywhere. Surfer, of course, really good with
it
her.
didn't get much testing, but it did super well. The toxic one is the one that like doesn't immediately jump to your mind as though Surge would be good in that, but just putting a good 2 cost in a shell that is powerful and has space for her
the same
goes
thing was true with
crazy.
Anti-Venom. Like no one thought
Yeah,
Anti-Venom in that kind of deck, and that's one of the most fun ones to play him
right.
in, because
I
you actively want to run Luke Cage for yourself, so it makes
yeah,
sense.
I literally started running Esme instead of Surge because like, oh yeah, there's synergy with Luke. He's gonna pick up the
Yeah.
power for cards that might get a little cheaper, and it's like this is
Mhm.
not working. Let's go Surge, and the difference.
And
It
that's my
hits.
favorite archetype in general. I'm a evil person.
Yeah,
Though I will say,
we're not going to look at Thanos, guys. Nothing
no,
happened on Thanos.
I will say though,
But
a
then,
little disappointed that you're running Malekith instead of our boy Man Thing in that list.
oh no, so it's not Malekith taking his spot. It's Laffy. I think Laffy is just more flexible. Also, the trick of
I know
getting to
Malekith
play.
can grab like Hazmat and stuff, but like
Yeah,
the games in which it grabs Zabu, I think is really sad.
yeah. Grabbing Zabu, Scorp, or Surge is all bad, but grabbing Red Guardian, Diamondback, Luke, U.S. Agent, or Hazmat is all really good. Especially
Right.
Luke. Those are big wins. But yeah,
Sure.
I had Man Thing and then I pumped in Laffy just because like, have they not done a stat check on like these 2 cards against each other? Laffy's like almost strictly better.
It depends, but I do agree from a face value, the on reveal is better than ongoing typically,
Yeah.
and not having a restriction of what if hits. But Man Thing has a higher ceiling than Laffy.
By 2
That's
is
still
all.
2 points, baby.
It's 2 points, but that means that Man Thing has to hit an entire location of cards within his price range.
Yeah.
Laffy hitting an entire location, regardless of price range, is giving me more. And Brad, I give you this trick. I can play Laffy and then play Luke Cage later, and Luke will give power back to my cards that Laffy stole from, but Laffy doesn't have to give the power back. So there's actually situations where my Laffy, it's very rare, but Laffy could be more points than Man Thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. Though that is a 7 energy investment versus a 4 in that instance, but yes.
Yeah,
That's specifically with Luke Cage. But no, I agree. Laffy needs to be in the list. Like, you can't cut him.
Yeah, Man Thing is also hitting your cards, so you still want to play Luke Cage in a lot of cases.
Well,
I mean, there are runs
like,
that don't, right, where you just go with the power of, like, it fuels Ajax, and I can play through the debuffs, whereas, and then Diamondback, like, doubles down, only affecting the opponent, stuff like that. But yeah, this deck is really good. I think you said you ranked it an S tier deck. I think Surge carries, I'm not even remembering what I replaced. I think it might have been just like Falcap was in here as just a good card.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. So it has the space to run these powerhouses. Really, really fun to work with. And then my other list here that did incredibly well. Not
you might have cut Cassandra?
Oh, Casanova. Yeah. I see Casanova a lot.
Yeah, because I'm looking at mine right now. Mine has Cassandra and Rogue in it, because at the time when I was playing this a lot, there was a lot of mirrors or just random Luke Cages you want to get rid of.
Yeah. That's why you've got Red Guardian to try and snipe the Luke, but that can't always happen. Rogue's a little more consistent.
Yeah, because sometimes they just have, Luke is not the lowest thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It felt amazing. I had one game where the Spire, what's the one that takes your card on the left and gives it to them? You know the one I'm talking about.
Takes your card on the left and gives it to them.
Yeah, your card on the left of your hand goes to them and you get their card. That was on the left of their hand.
That was the one that used to just swap hands or whatever. Not Mindscape.
Right. What's it called?
Oh, no, it was the one that it was the one that used to invert your hand.
Yes, invert the powers. Yes. It used to be the Mr. Negative location. They
like
took my Luke, and I was playing Hazmat, and then, they snap because it's like, hey, you got the counter card of my deck can't do anything. I got their Luke with my Red Guardian, and then we won. It's amazing. So they didn't protect it. But this deck also has done incredibly well for me.
I have to ask, as a Martyr believer and enjoyer, why here?
Yeah. Adam. This is how I get draws off Adam. Punch? Yeah, that's all.
You don't want to do my favorite iteration of doing that with Adam.
Okay.
Which is
Hawkeye, right?
Yeah, Hawkeye.
I tried Hawkeye. I actually like Martyr better. Also,
gotcha.
Okay, so the other side of the thought process is Martyr comes online a little bit faster, and in this deck, specifically the Moonstone like tower deck, I'm building a mid lane that is almost always going to be full. And it's usually
has one place to go to.
Yeah, if possible, is going to have Mr. Fantastic punching up both other locations. So I'm trying to get in a position where Martyr hopping is still like enough of a threat that the opponent can't keep up.
Right.
And it's worked out very well, actually incredibly well. I didn't have a single game where Martyr lost me the game. Obviously, I lost games, but I didn't have a single one that it was the Martyr move that lost me.
Well, yeah, I think when you build a deck correctly, like remember, this was like well over a year ago. That one list that I had, that I had a disgusting win rate. I was like 250 or whatever with it. It was my Martyr deck with what's the 4 cost that hides stuff?
Supergiant.
Yes, the Martyr Supergiant deck, where it's like the idea is like gaining priority, and playing a lot of like just good on curve stuff, and then hiding, and like you combining Supergiant with like Daredevil, and then like Eliathing their hidden stuff as well.
Right.
Yeah, that deck was insane. It's like, I mean, Martyr has legs. I just people are underexplore her, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that she works pretty well here. You can, of course, run some other one costs that are like Punchy or Hawkeye is a very popular choice. So you've got substitutions. Yep. But overall, this deck felt really good. Esme being able to hit almost anything is great. Iron Man and Gore are your game winners. But even like Sage starting at 4 is awesome. Mystique starting at 4 is super fun. Surge can sometimes get multiple Surges going. Renslayer has cases where I use her. Red Guardian or Mr. Fantastic, playable. Right, so you're not looking for the moon every time, but just a little bit of consistency there. And then really the game, you win games off of Renslayer, Moonstone, and the opponent doesn't do any like energy lock on you. And then having a 3-cost Iron Man and a 1-cost Mystique and everything else super cheap, you run over them.
Oh, fun. I love Moonstone. Moonstone's one of my favorite cards released in the last year. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm curious if Prodigy is going to be playable in this deck, because I feel like it's one of the decks that Prodigy could be experimented with, and because it's already feeling so good. Again? Oh, I pulled it up. On reveal, if this is in the back row, copy the text of the card in front of it. So we start doing location math.
Ooh.
But you could get.
So hold on. You could do.
He's a 3-cost.
Captain Carter.
Yeah.
Moonstone, this guy, and like an Iron Man, and you have like 100+ power.
Right, which you don't need. Crazy like that? You don't need 100 to win a location, but if someone's asking, I'll take it. It could also be like this deck. Nope, wrong tab. This deck will often. I was finding myself playing Iron Man just like first. He's solo at a location by turn 5, and then turn 6 with all my energy efficiency, the discounts from Renslayer, I come in with backup. I could build a crafted deck where the backup includes Prodigy to pick up the Iron Man effect, right? You play 2 cards, so 1 card and then Prodigy. Prodigy is then doubling the Iron Man, so even if you didn't get much other power, you should rush that location up by that X4.
Isn't it funny how because like looking at this deck and like thinking about like all like the like if you go on Snap, right, and you go and sort by ability, your main ones that you have, right, that are like classic Marvel Snap archetypes ongoing, discard, move, and destroy.
Yeah.
And isn't it really funny how ongoing, discard, and move have all gained so many amazing, incredible stuff that have put them like as really good archetypes in some top decks in the game, while destroy used to be that deck that got all these pieces everyone complained about and has since gotten nothing forever and is now the worst of the four pretty easily.
Yes. So I guess we need to wind the show down, but prediction then, is Elixir the end of the drought? Is this the answer for your destroy babies? On reveal, one of your cards destroyed last turn gets revived here.
So what can we pair this with in destroy though? So like a classic destroy deck. I'm trying to think of like what we care about getting destroyed. So like you don't really care about reviving here, ones that regenerate, like Wolverine, or X23, they don't see right? They don't count as destroyed. So like I don't care about reviving a Bucky to maybe destroy it again. Though maybe you do.
That's an interesting one.
Nimrod
is a power
for
spike.
Like extra Nimrods
for the final turn, especially if you've buffed a Nimrod, but Nimrod's like a bad deck, so
yeah.
I think the hook here, right, is hey, I had to play Venom early because I was going off curve, and then I played Deathlock or Carnage on top of him. Now I can play Elixir to bring him back at the location of my choosing. It's like that. It's that layering destroy activator consistency piece, right? I can play Carnage early, kill the Carnage, and then play Elixir to revive the Carnage. Something like that.
Interestingly enough, I do think this makes more sense in a Misery Firehair style deck than a classic destroy deck.
Yeah.
Because this, after you play Misery, to get another, just getting another demon, is incredibly valuable.
It wouldn't be the demon; you'd get the hood back. So this is like in your game that you were shoutcasting for us. You destroyed Rockslide, right? So what if then Elixired Rockslide, reemerge? That's pretty good. Right. Or I've seen Jeet play, he's insane. Misery will destroy anything, Gwenpool going down. Well, Gwenpool coming back is even better. He always uses Phoenix Force to get the resurrection, but now you have a consistency piece of Phoenix Force and Elixir to hit these powerful on reveals that you keep chaining.
This could also go in Mill, because Mill wants to play Misery typically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the drought continues for Classic Destroy.
I think Classic Destroy is kind of left. I think, honestly, Classic Destroy, like, that list has congealed. It's lacked. It's these cards and no others.
Not much you can really give it.
So unless something, like, insanely overpowered releases, it's not going to change Destroy unless they need to do reworks or buffs, is really what they need to do.
Yeah, which I don't even know what you would really buff without incidentally buffing other decks that happen to run some of these kind of cards, right? So like you can't buff Null or Death because those cards will just get better in different decks. Personally, I think maybe Nimrod to give you a better flavor for different types of destroy decks. You can't buff Venom. Well, I guess maybe you could, but then
you can add a handful of points anywhere, right? I don't know what like the big change is, but could Null at a 5 cost exist? I think it could.
It makes that Null Arnim Zola play more consistent.
It makes that more consistent, and if you don't find your X23, you can still play Null plus your big Deadpool, which is like the best path. So right now it requires them to have X23 and destroy X23 on turn 5. But if you imagine a future where they didn't have to have that condition, the deck would be a lot better.
I think Sabretooth could have a buff just to give you a different target for stuff. But Sabretooth's always been like the worst destroy card, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. Like they could do stuff. It's just
what if
I'm afraid of ripple effects, or you make Angel better. But
I was gonna say, could you make Angel just like a 2/5 for some reason? But
then that affects early play, and they don't like doing that.
That's fine.
I agree. I agree with you. It's fine, but Glenn does not agree.
Right.
Is the issue. That's that guy we have to DM about our ticket.
Right.
And also include, by the way, since you're looking into this Space Stone issue for me, could you buff Angel to a 2/5?
If they manipulate, Angel or Carnage or Nova or Bucky, then it's like if you sign up for Snap, you play those cards for 2 months straight, right? Which is not great, but at the same time, I mean, with the so I guess here's the thing with the advent of
I think Deathlock, by the way, is the out of the 3 that destroy stuff, Venom, Carnage, Deathlock. I think that's the easiest one to buff. Make him a 3/6 or a 3/7.
Yeah. I
just flat destroy everything here.
Sure. He's very simple, straightforward, just good. But he's also in that early pool. With the advent of the Human Torch first steps, like the first steps versions of all of these characters we already had, what if we just had like bigger, meaner Carnage, that you unlock as a Series 5 card later, or a bigger, better Nova?
Here's my issue. I understand the thought process of like just splitting up early version of cards. Like this is, early version 1 Iron Man.
This is card.
Infinity War Iron Man with the gauntlet, right? Where he's snapping at you saying, I'm Iron Man. And these are different cards. I hate that. I hate that from a flavor perspective. I hate with a burning passion these Fantastic Four first step cards. I hope they do not exist in the real game. If they're a limited time event, that's fine, and they're only usable there. Please do not put these in the game. I cannot stand the idea of this, of having multiple versions of same cards when they're just straight up. There's still these things. It's not like Spider-Man 2099 versus Scarlet Spider and these different versions of Spider-Man.
They're different.
Or it's not even like, even like Infinity Ultron or like 2099 Doctor Doom. These are different reality people, but like this isn't even just like this is okay, hear me out. If this was the maker of Mr. Fantastic, that version of him, like Ultimate, where he's just a villain, I'm on board. But because it's just MCU Mr. Fantastic, that sucks. I think that's really bad and like awful precedent for the game.
But it's a movie tie-in, Brad. The capitalism. Think about the capitalism.
I got
bad news for you, Brad. 1, you live in a capitalistic country, and 2, Mr. Fantastic is the season pass card. They are not limited time. They are fully coming to the game. We don't even have like art or like enough really to parse through talking about these, so I think we're gonna have to save that conversation. But Brad's nightmare will be realized in July 15th.
hey, maybe watching the actual movie will cushion the blow of these heinous crimes that we're about to have. I think it's bad. I think it's bad to have because what happens next? Like, so when Spider-Man comes out next year after or do we get like another Doctor Doom? Do we get Infinity Doctor Doom because of Doomsday or whatever? Do we get Tom Holland, his literal face on a card, and be like, this is Peter Parker, and then it just says Peter Parker ? Because no one knows who that is in the MCU right now.
Right, they forgot him. Forgotten Parker. Oh, forgotten Spider-Man. Dude, it's writing itself.
Right.
Stop, Brad. You're giving the design team ideas. They're gonna roll with them.
I hate it so much. It is vehemently disgusting to me. So please stop doing this. I don't want to see this. I hope this flops. I hope this season is their worst selling season ever. It won't be because it's a movie. It will not.
Absolutely. Well, no, here's the thing. They all have actually a cool new hook of they all do end of turn stuff.
Yeah. Well, do they work together at all? Or are they very...
They don't have like call outs to each other's names, but they do have some synergy. So we're doing it. Mr. Fantastic first steps. End of turn. Give a card in your hand plus 2 power or -1 cost. So that's every turn. He becomes a battery. We don't know his stat line because we have we do. 2 cost. So you can play him on turn 2. He'll activate at the end of every turn, triggering something. So you're going to build this engine of all these triggers happening at the end of the turn. Human Torch is end of turn plus 1 power once per game. If your side here is full, double this card's power instead.
He also a 1 cost again? Because these got to curve out, right? There's no shot they don't.
Yes, and it is important. No, he's a 3 cost. He's more expensive now.
Okay.
So they don't mirror. They don't really mirror anything about their old. Well, the doubling mirrors, but they're fairly unique.
So I would guess Invis is going to be the 1 cost, and Thing is 4.
The Thing is end of turn +2 power once per game. If your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with less power.
Okay, so like a Wakanda or the Falls, the waterfall place. He's a 5 cost?
He's the 5/6. Big and punchy. Okay. So you're going to need a lot of tokens to get these triggers.
They might start at 2. So is Invis a 4 cost then? Is the question.
3. And she's actually an activate. This turn, your end of turn abilities happen twice. So she holds the family together.
So I hate that. I hate that there's a 1, or I'm sorry, there's a 2, 2 3s, and a 5.
Sorry, we haven't got the Herbie.
Oh, he's the one that curves us out. Is he a 4 cost?
He's a 2/2. And each turn this is in play, swap to a new activate ability until 1 is used. So he is the Nico of activates, and it's when he's on the board. And so your plethora of options, as we go even deeper down the rabbit trail here, is activate next turn, you get +2 energy. Activate, give your cards at adjacent locations +1 power. Activate, create a rock with 4 power here, but not a vibranium. Activate, double this card's power.
So I like Herbie, because Herbie's a new card. It's a brand new card. It's a character we haven't had a card as before.
It's also a cool idea.
I agree. I hate the other ones. I hate that they are what they are. I wish they would have just said, you know what? For this season, we're reworking all of the Fantastic Four. Here you go, 4 new cards.
4 new.
I would have been more okay with that. Because it's just the thing that they're called First Steps. It's just a direct movie tie-in. They're not even trying to say it's like this is like different versions of them. Like if these were like all evil versions of them, like you have the Malice of Invisible Woman, you have the
It's also like
what's
the
it
art.
called? The there's a version that's evil Johnny Storm at some point. The Thing has been nullified before, but you already have that as a variant.
The art is like so locked on all of these, right? What are you going to do as a variant artwork of Mr. Fantastic First Steps? Right. It's a different clip from the movie.
You should have different Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, this one he's in the spacesuit. This one he's in his dinner tux.
Yeah. That can make it confusing for new players that like finally climb through, like, you know, entering into pool 3, right? And they start seeing these pool 4 and 5 cards because they're finally out of that, you know, pool 2 hell. So like they'll be playing Mr. Fantastic and they're like, what is this other Mr. Fantastic? Why is there another Human Torch? Like that seems confusing.
At the same time, this could open the door on another Fantastic Four sequel where we get another set and we can have an entire deck of only Fantastic Four characters, just in 3 different versions.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I'm
here for it, baby. So here's the thing. I love the abilities.
The cards themselves, what they do, I like that.
Yes.
I don't like the fact that they're all. I wish they were just sequenced better, so you could actually curve out with them if you want them to work together, because they clearly do. But
it's setting a new precedent for the developers to do this, because they kind of said back in the early release days they wouldn't. Here they clearly are. You also have so we just got Thunderbolts. We didn't get a Thunderbolts version of any of those characters. All their cards are just still their cards.
But those characters are arguably not big enough to justify doing that. They could say they can get away with because they're such massive characters in Marvel history.
Gotcha.
And this is the actual literal.
Again, spoilers for Thunderbolts for a few seconds here till the end. Why not just a new Avengers version of White Widow, right? They just want to make money. She's a new Avenger now,
right.
instead so it could just get put out with a new ability if they wanted to do that. But they had other stuff that they could roster, so they did.
Well, you're right. They could have done it, but again, I think they would have gotten far more backlash, especially because they already released White Widow as the character / card in tie-in with the Black Widow movie, which wasn't that long ago. So they're too close together. It's just different. I think I think
Brad's here arguing about how this is justified at the same time disliking it. It's like, I'm telling you, no, like if the precedent is set, like they could have done this for any of them.
Well, because again, they have to balance the business side of it, like how much money you can make it, but they also have to balance their like goodwill that they get from like their you know,
fans.
Player base. Yeah. So like this, you could internally justify it from a business perspective of like people won't get mad enough at this because this is such a big deal. But people would get mad enough at like having two versions of White Widow.
Again, spoilers for Fantastic Four from Thunderbolts. They are alternate dimension versions of the characters. So that's the line, right? Is these guys came from the alternate dimension.
But that's where you get into the muddy waters of like, well, now I can have Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom as a card.
Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with this. No mask Doctor Doom, or whatever. Doctor Doom has so many different versions.
Well, okay, I guess they could do the What If comic run that everyone and their mother was pointing at when this was announced last year. Of like, well, they've done it before, where Doctor Doom and or Victor Von Doom and Tony Stark swapped places in a universe, and one became Doctor Doom, one became. But then all that happened was in that story is Doctor Doom was basically Iron Man in morality and everything, and then Iron Man was basically Doctor Doom. They kept their color schemes, so Iron Man was green and silver and black or whatever, and then Doctor Doom was red and gold, and they were the villain and the hero just swapped.
So just with slightly different suits. And
that What If really didn't change much.
No.
So
it's like, what if I drew Doctor Doom in red and gold? Hey, he looks like Iron Man. You're a genius.
There's no way that started as like a weird little like I'm doodling. This is fun. Yeah. Oh, we can make money from this.
That's how so many of these started, mate. That's how so many of these started.
Right.
But
that's how Venom started.
Yeah, is the black Carnage, suit. Right?
Because like the black suit.
Black Spider-Man. The darker suit.
They when they first made it. Todd McFarlane, they were tasked with the idea of like, we need to get rid of the black suit. We need to get him back to like his red suit. And he was like, oh, I like the black suit. So they basically forced Todd McFarlane to figure out like, hey, we need a reason for this black suit to not exist. And that's why Venom exists. That's the whole reason, because they wanted to go back to a recognizable Spider-Man. It had nothing to do with story and all to do with sales.
Yeah. Then the sales ended up blowing up because Venom is incredibly popular.
Venom is amazing.
Yeah. Very cool.
Comics are fun.
All right. We I don't know if we can promise to hold ourselves to a full weekly release schedule. Our real life schedules have been a little bit in flux, but we will be back at you guys with more seasonal reviews of the cards. And if we ever get caught up on just talking about the cards and meta, then we can add some other fun segments in here as well. So very much looking forward to chatting with you next time, Brad.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure. Always fun. Remember to like, subscribe, all that stuff, whatever. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Don't stop snapping.
Can't Stop Snapping is a podcast hosted and produced by Brad Saffer and Teddy Ninja, originally created by Michael Thurman.